untangling the incredibly complex, super high-stakes web of global AI governance in 2026. The world of artificial intelligence is moving so insanely fast right now, and honestly, the rules trying to govern it are just scrambling to keep up. So here is our roadmap for today. We're going to cover the race toward AGI, the friction around copyright and monopolies, Europe's AI Act, America's state-level strategy, and finally, the 2026 global consensus.
Section 1. The race toward AGI, moving faster than anticipated.
To really understand the governance problem, we have to look at the sheer scale of the race. $650 billion. That is what big tech is projected to spend on AI infrastructure and development in 2026 alone. I mean, that's a figure rivaling the GDP of entire nations. It brilliantly illustrates just how highly privatized and concentrated this race has become. We aren't just talking about abstract academic research in university labs anymore. We are looking at massive, highly capitalized tech giants pouring unprecedented resources into a tiny number of foundation models. And with that kind of money flooding the zone, the timeline for the ultimate goal, artificial general intelligence, is shrinking fast. When you actually map out the expert forecasts, the proximity of these dates is pretty staggering. You have Dario Amodi seeing a window of cognitive acceleration hitting right about now, between 2026 and 2027. Experts like Coco Tajlo and Aschenbrenner point to 2027 as the literal transition point to autonomous superintelligence and potential misalignment. And Demis Hassabis? He's forecasting systems with full human cognitive abilities by the early 2030s. So regulators are panicking, and rightfully so. Leading experts are predicting we hit AGI, machines that can match or beat human brainpower at almost any task, way before robust guardrails are fully operational. Section 2. Copyright and market monopolies. The economic friction. All of this explosive technological speed is creating massive economic and legal friction. AI is rapidly becoming a supercognitive infrastructure, but the economics behind it are creating severe market monopolies. Training these models requires astronomical sunk costs in computing power and data. At the same time, platforms lock in users to capture network effects on the demand side. So, when you combine that massive cost of entry with the sheer dominance of early winners, only a tiny handful of global operators actually have the scale to compete. And that monopoly power, it brings us right to a fierce, objective tension. These AI models are hungry. They require immense amounts of third-party data to function. Books, code, images, articles, you name it. But original creators are fighting back hard against the zero-price data scraping. You essentially have tech companies arguing that they're just extracting patterns and learning, while authors and publishers are shouting, "No way! This is unremunerated appropriation of our intellectual property." So how is the market dealing with this? Well, currently, it's relying on case-by-case fair use litigation in the US. Judges are painstakingly having to analyze whether training an AI on copyrighted data counts as transformative use. But as you can imagine, litigation is incredibly slow and unpredictable. Because of that uncertainty, we're seeing tech giants pivot to private, premium licensing agreements, like OpenAI partnering with the Associated Press, just to secure legally safe, high-quality training data. Section 3. Europe's AI Act, the top-down approach. To rein in these monopolies and legal gray areas, the European Union is taking a totally different path. They're utilizing a proactive, top-down strategy known as an ex-ante approach. Think of it like setting the speed limit on a highway before someone actually crashes. The AI Act ensures that development is compatible with copyright protection right from the ground up, using tools like the Digital Services Act. This is a sharp contrast to the United States, which is leaning on reactive, ex-post approach, essentially leaving it up to judges to sort out the mess after the damage is already done. Section 4. America's state-level strategy, a fragmented web. Let's look exactly at how that decentralized American approach is playing out on the ground in 2026. Without a unified federal rulebook like the EU AI Act, the US is experiencing an absolute explosion of fragmented laws. Researchers are currently tracking 1,779 AI legislative documents popping up across 46 different states. It is a lawyer's dream, but it's a developer's total nightmare. If you're building an AI product in the US right now, you aren't looking at one clear law. You're navigating a dizzying, overlapping web of almost 2,000 localized regulations. Section 5. The 2026 Global Consensus, Seeking International Alignment. With such completely different strategies happening between Europe and the fragmented US, international bodies are urgently trying to step in and build some kind of global alignment. the International AI Safety Report 2026, which was coordinated by AI pioneer Yoshua Bengio and represents over 100 experts, confirms a really stark reality. These frontier models are developing significantly faster than our collective governance can manage. The sheer cognitive power of these tools is, frankly, outpacing our institutional capacity to control them. And listen, this isn't just bureaucratic worry. Leaders like Nobel laureate Demis Hassabis are warning that we have reached a true threshold moment. Why? Because of the sudden leap in autonomous, agentic AI. We're moving past AI that just sits there and answers your questions, and we're moving into AI agents that can actively go out and complete complex tasks in digital environments entirely on their own. This represents a critical and totally unprecedented threshold for humanity. So, what you really need to take away from this explainer is that the technology absolutely isn't waiting for governments to figure it out. The race is on. And whether we end up relying on Europe's top-down laws or America's state-by-state lawsuits, the stakes for our digital future literally couldn't be higher. Which leaves us with one final, urgent question to think about. As these systems cross the line from agentic AI into autonomous superintelligence, will our laws actually catch up in time to keep us safe?